Hello, welcome to Love from a Leo. Today's video is about Pluto and the influence that it has as a planet. So it's planetary influences on the collective consciousness, what it represents in your birth chart, what it represents in astrology. I'm going to be looking from my notes that I've taken here so I make sure I don't forget anything, and so you know I've done my research, okay? What I'm going to tell you does consist of what I've researched, but also what I internalized when I do planetary assessments and other things in astrology. I really like to immerse myself in the energy, so I'm also going to give you little tips and tricks on how to understand the planet a little bit more so you can understand what it represents for you as a person. Pluto is now classified as a dwarf planet. This reclassification happened in 2006. So what this means is Pluto is definitely still physically a planet. There's no way to say that something is not what it actually is, right? A lot of people are like,
oh, so Pluto's not a planet, it doesn't matter anymore.
Pluto is still a planet, and it's just classified as a dwarf planet because it is so far away from the sun. We did not even discover Pluto until 1930. So that's something to remember. This is a very new concept. Astrologically, it still has a huge influence. So even though it's classified as a dwarf planet, it still is seen as a very transformative type of planet for, the astrology world and what it means for our collective conscious as well as the individual self. And interesting enough, this planet was found with a telescope in 1930, so it's very, very new when it comes to planets. So Pluto represents transformation and change. It can make you create a reinvention of yourself. It's about death, endings, new beginnings. When something ends, something else happens that is like a new opening, a new door. So on a deeper level, I like to think of Pluto as the representation of when you fall, you have to get back up. Pluto is a force that is huge. It's something that can transform things in enormous ways. Now, what you do with that energy is up to you. So you can have the ability to create with this Pluto energy, or you can be destructive with this Pluto energy. A lot of people are afraid of the Pluto energy because I guess people think that it's all about endings and deaths and intensity, and it is all of these things, but what you choose to do with that energy is up to you. So whenever you choose to do something good, that would be creating something, bringing something new to the table, putting life into something different, because whatever you were putting life into is now dead. And then on the more negative side, the bad side, a lot of people are afraid to have change happen, and a lot of people who resist this change find that it's very painful to go through whatever Pluto will make happen. Like, Pluto's force is not something that can be controlled by any means. It's something that you have to just kind of go with and kind of surrender yourself to this transformative state. And with that surrender, it forces you to acknowledge a deeper side of yourself. So it's like you're going through these crazy changes, these transformative states in life, and it's like once you get through it, you will have more paths and more doorways to choose from. But if you resist it, you have more of blockages, obstacles, paranoia, obsessions, sudden changes. All of this comes with Pluto's energy. It's what you choose to do with it that really influences what happens with your life. So the Pluto influence makes you ask yourself, where do I need to find deeper truth and more meaning in a certain part of your life? So wherever Pluto is in your chart, like whatever house it deals with, that's where it's going to influence that part of your life. For example, if you have Pluto in the 7th house, then this is going to be kind of like energies where you find change and you find transformation in your relationships in life, and thus, catapulting other parts of your life. So wherever you find relatability, relationships, people that you encounter, people that you are intimate with, that part of your life is where it's going to be influenced the most. That's where you're going to find possible obsession, paranoia, upheavals, different changes and things like that. But that is also the part of your life where you could have totally different avenues that you can travel down. It's all about how you choose to work with it. So this is the Pluto symbol. I'm going to just show you because I've written it down here. We're right here. Pluto is a very slow-moving planet. It takes 248 years approximately for it to travel around the sun. With that being said, Pluto will spend up to 11 to 32 years in one particular sign. So this is a very generational planet, meaning the influence that it has is very dedicated to longer periods of time, meaning that certain generations will be affected by it. So we've seen that in different generations, wherever Pluto is stationed at has an influence on that particular generation. It has a different way of making a certain person that's older than you or younger than you, they're affected by Pluto's energy in a different way. If you would like to know where your Pluto is placed and how you can really harness what it means for you and where you'll have changes, where you can transform your life tremendously, you can email me at lovefromaleo@gmail.com, and we can, see where it's headed, where it's at in your chart, how you can work with it, and where you can expect change to happen, okay? So whenever you do look into your chart and you know where your Pluto is at, what house it's in, what sign it's combined with, this gives you a little outlook on where you're going to expect the big changes in your life. It shows you how you're going to change with the sign that it's associated with in your chart as well. It takes a while to truly understand what Pluto's influences have in store for you, because it's a very abstract and deep type of energy. And so it's not black and white is what I'm trying to say. You kind of have to go through life to understand it, but what your birth chart can show you is this is the starting point. But the way your life carries you is totally different from what on paper it says that Pluto is supposed to do for you. Does that make sense? So for example, Pluto in the 7th house, you know that it has to do with relationships, but you may not know what particular relationships will transform you, will make you change, will make you suffer. You don't really know until you're actually going through it. It's a very deep-rooted planet. Keep in mind, Pluto rules Scorpio. So Scorpio is a very intense sign. It's about, your deepest emotions. It's about going to that darker side, your shadow self. It's that fixed emotion. It's that some of us run from. Now, depending on where you're positioned, that's going to make all the difference. Like I said, your birth chart has the power to truly unlock what Pluto means for you. And again, this is a generational planet, so it's going to take more than just looking at what Pluto says on your birth chart for face value. You're going to really have to look into it. If you need help, like I said, email me. Pluto, when it comes to mythology, is the ruler of the underworld, and so obviously it's associated with death, but in astrology and in life, death is all about transformation and renewal. So whenever you're dealing with Pluto, whatever part of your life that this, takes control of, you have to realize that whatever that closed door is also an opening for you to start over, essentially. So Pluto represents the end and the beginning. So that's what's powerful about this. Most planets have, only one thing that it does, but Pluto is really the darkest side of yourself, but also the renewal of yourself, the reinvention of yourself. And so that's a very powerful planet. And if you understand what this planet is about for you, then you can really unlock secrets for yourself. You can really understand yourself and how you work, how you change, how you're able to transform, the things that you need to stop obsessing over, the things that make you feel paranoid. All of those things are attached to it. But I feel like the most important thing that Pluto shows us as as an individual and also as a collective, it shows you that change is needed sometimes. You know what I mean? Sometimes the biggest comebacks come from the biggest setbacks. Without Pluto's influence, I feel like things would be a lot more stagnant, to the point where a lot of people who are very set in their ways, they won't experience change because they are not forced to change. Pluto brings in that energy of, I don't care if you like it, I don't care if your emotions want this, I don't care what you want. This is about what needs to happen for the greater good. This is a generational change. This is, breaking generational curses for some people. And depending on how much influence Pluto has on you, it's all about reinventing yourself. But this is like reinvention that you don't even understand that you're doing. It's something that you're going through life. It's a very, I don't know what word that would be, but going through life and understanding what life is all about. That's what Pluto represents. But it represents the scary side and then the good side, like what you get from going through the hard times. Pluto also has a way of making you find the truth. It gives you the desire to know what's real versus what's fantasy. And I think this happens because there is no hiding from Pluto. It's not the sun, so it's not going to expose everything, but in a way it really does. It really shows you your deepest, darkest side of yourself. And so I feel like if that's not exposure, I don't know what is. You know what I mean? It's like it's the real root of the insides of yourself. So it's not what you choose to show. It's not the mask that you choose to portray. It's not the way that you choose to make people think this is how you are. It's really like you sitting in a dark room by yourself. You know all of your deepest, darkest secrets. even the ones that you've chosen to hide from yourself. Pluto brings those darkest parts of yourself, and it makes it to where you either work with it or you work against it, but those are going to be the tools that Pluto uses in order for you to transform as a person. And so it's a very deep planet. It gets way deeper than this video could ever match up to, but if you want to know more about this, you can email me at lovefromaleo@gmail.com. You can also, request a birth chart reading. Maybe I can help you understand why you're going through these transformative states. I think that's it for this. I know I have more to say, but for this particular video, I feel like, I've pretty much said everything I need to say on this topic. So hopefully you start to understand Pluto a little bit more. Good luck to all of you who are on this astrological journey or just life journey in general, spiritual journeys. I don't know what else to say, you guys. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. If you liked it, please leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. If you already are subscribed, please make sure that your notification bell is hit so that you are notified when I upload more videos like this. Stay positive, keep your head up. Knowledge is power. Do your research, learn more about yourself, learn more about whatever you're curious about. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.